As you can see, I'm not working on the Mustang today. I'm going to be working on this 2003 Nissan Altima, and I'm going to change the windshield washer fluid pump. The pump is at the bottom of the windshield washer reservoir, which is right behind this bumper panel. And I've seen some videos or instructions that you have to take the whole bumper off to get to it. I'm just going to take the tire off and the mud guard off and try and reach in behind there and do it that way. This washer pump I just bought at my local auto parts store. It was about $18 and some change. So let's get to trying to replace this thing and see if we can do it without taking the bumper off. Alright, let's take a look at this replacement pump. You can see that this is the bottom here. Whoops, that's the bottom of the pump. There's a little fitting on this side of it. That's where the hose goes into, that supplies the windshield washer nozzles. This end of the pump is inserted into the reservoir, so the tank in your car, you shove this into the side of the tank, and that's where the fluid supply comes from. And the only other thing that's on here is an electrical fitting at the top of it. So we have to take off the electrical fitting on the old one. So this is all there is to it to get this pump on and off. So I've got the old one exposed, so let's go take a look at that one and start removing it. Alright, so you can see I have the car jacked up. I took the front tire off, and I have a jack stand next to the jack. And what I've done is I've removed a couple of screws that hold this mud guard, get the light on it here, that hold this mud guard onto the car. And what that has done is that has exposed this reservoir that contains the fluid for the windshield washer pump, and you can see the pump. Let me see if I can get in there a little better. So there's the old pump down at the bottom of the reservoir. All we need to do is unplug the electrical fitting, take off the supply hose that goes to the nozzles, and then pull the pump out of the tank. I have a bucket down here on the floor because when I pull this pump out, obviously all the fluid in the tank is going to come out, and I don't want that to go all over the floor of my garage. So get yourself a little bucket, and I clean this one out so I can reuse the fluid. Alright, so here's a view from the front of the car. There's the fog light. I'm coming down underneath, and I'm going in. Here's the reservoir. This is some electrical connection, and here's the pump right here. So there's a hose on it. This is a hose that goes up to the nozzles. There's the pump. Focus, come on. There's the pump, and then you can't see the electrical connector is up on the side. So what I'm going to do after I disconnect the electric is I'm going to just wiggle this back and forth and pull the pump out of the tank, the reservoir tank, and then let it drain into a bucket. So let me get the electrical connector off first. All right, I'm trying to get this electrical connector off, and every time I push on it, the pump moves a lot. So I think what I'm going to do is pull the pump out of the reservoir first. So I just wanted to try and video that while I'm doing it. So let's see. You can see the pump moves really easy here. Okay. I didn't get too much water on myself. So we'll just let that drain out into this bucket down here. Of course, you know, in the meantime, I've already done all the other obvious sort of troubleshooting things, like I checked the fuse in the circuit, I checked that the hose is connected all the way up and down. Obviously, we have fluid in the reservoir. So, you know, before you go ahead and replace the pump, you want to make sure that you've done all the other troubleshooting things first. All right, we'll come back when this is drained. If that's not 1.5 gallons, you know, it's nothing. We had a lot of fluid in this tank. You know, I guess that was part of the issue. You know, when it doesn't work, your natural thought is, oh, well, maybe it's just out of fluid, so we keep filling the thing up, topping it off. That holds a lot of liquid. All right, so now that that's done draining, we can disconnect the hose on the little pump and the electrical connector. And it's probably going to be a little easier to disconnect both of those. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is pull off this hose. that connects the pump to the nozzles, and there's no clamps or anything on here that I can see. It's just shoved on there, you know, from the factory 13 years ago. I'm just going to grab it with this needle nose and kind of wiggle it around, make sure it's, like, you know, loose on here. Okay, see if we can't just pull that off. Whoops, there goes the light. And now the electrical. Trying not to damage that. I don't want to twist it too much. And it looks like it's got like a couple of things on the side you have to pinch inward. I'll try and show you when we get when I get it off, how you do it. Or maybe just press this little thing in the back here. I don't know if you can see this, but alright, so the way you get this electrical connector out, I kind of have it loose already. There's a button here. There's a button on the top of it right here, and you just press that button down. I use a pair of needle nose pliers like this, and then I just squeezed it and wiggled back and forth, and it came off. So here's the old pump out of the reservoir. Let's get the new one in. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to assemble it in the reverse order. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to put the feeder hose on first. I want to put the least amount of strain on the electrical as I can. Just going to push on this the supply hose like that. Next is I'm going to it goes into the car this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is plug in my electrical fitting, my electrical connector. I'm going to make sure that my electrical wire isn't twisted or anything. It was a little twisted, so I'm going to untwist it. I'm going to plug it in like this, and it should just snap in. I know this is hard to see on the camera. Okay, you can hear that click. So that's in. And, you know, I think maybe I'll test this thing now before I shove it in the hole. Alright, so listen carefully. I'm going to turn on the car, not start it, just turn it on, and then I'm just going to pump this once or twice. Alright, here we go. It sounded like it ran to me. I heard a little buzz sound. So we're going to push it back into the tank now. Make sure that's clean. Yep. All that fluid coming out of there really flushed it out nice. So we'll shove this back into the hole. Like that. Everything looks good. Let's pour the fluid back in and give it a proper test. Alright, so now for the final test. Alright, hit it. Hey, look at that. Okay, it's working. So, we fixed it. Alright, good.
It worked.
It worked.